Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kryptonized. I have a returning guest, Barnaby Andersun. I'm wondering where he's been, what he's been up to. We're going to find out. And we're going to talk about three things today. One, the state of the market. Obviously, we're in a bear market. Barnaby's got a prediction on when it's going to end. So make sure you listen in on that. Then we're going to talk about the Ethereum Merge, some predictions around that. We're going to have a wrap-up. Once the merge happens, we'll come back, whether it's Barnaby or somebody else, and talk about that. And then NFTs. What the heck is going on with NFTs? But first, Barnaby, maybe a quick intro because you haven't been on for a while, and then we'll just jump right in.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's great to be here with you and everybody else. Barnaby Andersun's my name. I've been in tech, e-commerce, and blockchain for decades in e-commerce, and I moved into blockchain full time. I first found Bitcoin back in 2011, so I've basically just been obsessed with all this sort of stuff. And I met Mark. We were through connections over at Davos, actually, and World Economic Forum, where I was speaking over there. So yes, I've been full on about everything to do with crypto for as long as I can remember now, pretty much. And I'm seeing that there's been a momentous move in the last 24 hours. So that's what I'm excited about, because suddenly since the end of April, we've been in a consistent downtrend. It's pretty obvious when you look at it, with Bitcoin being the front runner. Everything follows. They are the lead indicator, and it's just been lower low after, and lower highs constantly for the last 6 odd months. And yesterday we were sort of down to the wire this week, and it was make or break. That's how I saw it. Like, we were down to we'd already gone below 19,000. And it had been stepping down consistently. If you look at the charts, stepping down. And then was it going to go even lower? Basically, if we broke into the 18,000s and basically went yesterday, if we did that, that's how the charts were shaping up. It was really at this, like, which way is it going to go? And suddenly, boom, it just jumped out of there and went straight up. So what that is telling me is that for the first time in all of these months, in fact, I'll just pop open my screen sharing so we can, as you can see here, this is over on TradingView. This is one of my charts that I use for tracking, and you could see that this is actually on the 1 hour chart. We can actually move it. Let's move it to the 4 hour chart here. So as you can see here, that's just August, like earlier August. This is on the 4 hour chart, and we've been in this downward channel very, very directly. Zooming down all these months, but we hit this point here, and you can see in the last 24 hours, that's the 8th of September, and I draw my trending lines down here, and this was resistance, and it was either, as you could see here with these drops that we've been watching, these consistent drops, like from the end of August, and then the 6th of September here, and then bouncing right back up. So in this channel, trending downwards for the last 30 days. So what was it going to do yesterday? It was either going to break down, which was going to be actually quite an indicator of where things were going to head for the next couple of months. But instead, we broke up. And I had a bunch of trades, actually, to be honest, and I still had them open. So I was leaning towards a break on the upside, and it broke through every single resistance, just like butter. Bitcoin was just cutting through, and that's taken the rest of the market up with it. And now we're hitting this next level of resistance that you can see was the previous one from a few weeks ago. So what we're looking at here is what is Bitcoin going to do? Well, it probably is due for a pullback, but I'm putting my money on that it'll be a pullback with a continue trending upwards. And if we go to the daily, what we can see is this momentous shift. In fact, we haven't seen such a big green candle, I think, at all since the big crash back in June here. So to my mind, the bottom is in from the 18th of June when we hit 17,500. It looked like yesterday, I did have some concern that we could continue that down, but no, Bitcoin held support at this level here, at the 18,800. And now we're trending back up. Why this is actually a big deal is with this kind of shift in potentially market sentiment, that means that we've made a new higher low. So we've come down here, and we're higher than that from where we were in June. So this could potentially be the turning point, in which case I'm going to go on record saying the bottom's in, and Bitcoin is going to now start drifting, trending, admittedly sideways, I would say, for a few more months, but in an upwards direction. And I think that we've got probably like another 6 months plus in this sideways, gently sort of trending upwards. And there we go.
All right. Well, how do you know it's not a false rally?
Well, yeah, that's like a bull trap.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened back on the July 18th. You know, it went up and then for a couple days, and it went back down, went up, and we were just caught in this little. And I'm not a chartist. I don't believe these things are very effective. I think it just tells the history. It doesn't really tell what's going to happen. But you know, that's me. I didn't work for stocks for me, and I don't think it works for crypto. But it's just interesting to watch what's happening. From a historical perspective, and be able to kind of see, you know, where it could be heading. Maybe, possibly, you're saying it's heading up. I'm thinking, you know, that somebody dumped a lot of money into Bitcoin, and you know, in order to keep the price stabilized, and then who knows what's going to happen next? A big dump, or does it continue up because of something that happened similar to what happened back when Bitcoin went to 60,000? I don't see the greedy players jumping in right now.
Sure, but what has to happen is you still always have a bottom. There's a final bottom, and generally it takes many months for people to actually realize that en masse. And so it took a long time in the last bear market bottom, when we bottomed out. It took many months for people to realize that that's what had happened. And so...
Yeah, and then they got in big. I agree. I just don't know if that's going to happen again because so many people were burned. You know, well, moving up to 60,000. Where's the new wave of people that haven't been burned that's coming in? It's still too complicated in crypto.
It is, but maybe you're right in the sense that the counter argument would be, it's because of the ETH merge that's happening next week. This is what's causing this rally. Is people are jumping in, but they're jumping into into Bitcoin. Yes, Ethereum has gone up a bit, but Bitcoin has really been the big mover, which is taking the rest of the market with it up. And maybe that is all to do with this slightly positive sentiment around this merge that's happening next week. So then according to that thesis, people, they're just selling the news, and so that means that basically they're going to be coming in and exiting, and so then we'll have a bigger crash, and this could all be like a bull trap. Well, we're going to know in the next 10 days or less if that's the case.
Yeah, we're going to know. I think the merge is a positive thing, and it's a good segue to what we wanted to talk about anyway. What is your, take on the merge? And, everyone's thinking that the cost of gas is going to go down, but I think that's been largely proven untrue. So what exactly is going to happen with this version of the Ethereum merge happening next week?
Well, firstly, I was just I was invited into an Ethereum hackathon just like 2 weeks ago, and Vitalik came. So I was literally in the same room as Vitalik, and I was with 500 other developers, and I won a bunch of prizes. So now I'm an award-winning Ethereum developer. So that's fun and that's cool to be able to say that. So we actually there was a bunch of prizes, a whole bunch of amazing sponsors there. Everybody was super excited about the merge. That's what we're talking about. So it was fun to be with developers. It was fun to be with Vitalik just in the past 2 weeks, discussing how the merge was imminent and what that was going to mean. And they went into details about that from a development point of view, because I'm a techie. I love all that stuff. So tech-wise, this move to proof of stake, if people are wondering, so moving away from proof of work, which Ethereum has been working on since basically its inception. So for the last 6 or so years, they've been working on ways that they were going to develop scaling solutions. And even though this is the merge is the main first move of a complete shift away from proof of work only into proof of stake as of next week. So what that means is all the mining rigs, all the mining machines that use electricity, all stopped. That's going offline. That the difficulty bomb goes off. They can no longer do that. So those mining rigs, they need to switch to other networks like Ethereum Classic, like potentially the fork of this ETH2 that's about to come out. So there is going to be this sort of mishmash of potential confusion, which we can discuss a bit more in detail in a moment. But basically, it's looking like it's running very smoothly. It looks like this merge, from a technical point of view, is going to go off by the looks of it without a hitch, which means that all the smart contracts, all the tokens, all the users, everybody with their wallets, you don't have to worry about it. It's just going to work as per usual, but it's going to switch from using electricity to proof of stake, which means that those, in truth, who own the most Ethereum, they will be the ones providing security to the network. And so you need a minimum of 32 Ethereum to be able to become a validator in the staking, in this new proof of stake network, which is, not a small amount of change. You have to have like 50 plus grand to step in there. So that, does this actually make it more decentralized? So there's a few core points. Like, well, some would say that it's actually making it much less decentralized. What else is it bringing? Well, it's basically just paving the way to a whole new method of using, from a functional back-end perspective, using Ethereum. But from a front end, the gas prices, not changing. Your use of the tech from a DeFi and wallet perspective, not changing. So to be honest, from an average user's perspective, I doubt they're going to see any actual change. Now,
it'll be faster. It'll be faster though. The transactions will be faster.
Okay, it could be a little bit faster, but I don't think we're going to see, personally, I don't think we're going to see a great deal in the speed, maybe a bit, but the fees is going to be really that's what I heard. But right. Because Vitalik, when he was talking about this, the sharding is the final step of the full switch over. And the sharding, well, they wanted to have all of this done years ago. So now they're saying sharding is 2 or so years away. But they said that 4 years ago about where we are now. And so the sharding now, Vitalik on stage, what he said to us when I was in the room with him at the hackathon, was that they are fully intent upon making the sharding the final step where the transaction speeds will be through the roof, hundreds of thousands of transactions for 1/100th of a penny. That's where they're taking Ethereum. That's what Vitalik said. But it ain't happening next week. It ain't happening next year.
And I think when sharding actually happens, that's when we're going to see the flippening. That's my prediction. Bitcoin's great. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, obviously, but I do believe that value is what should be driving these cryptos. And if you have a platform that's fast, that you could build on, that you can have all these special projects on infinitum, it's going to bypass Bitcoin eventually. And my prediction is right before or right after when the sharding does occur, if it occurs in 2 years. So if you're betting on Ethereum or Bitcoin, I'd bet on Ethereum at this point. I think the merge will nearly be flawless. We'll talk about it just based on professionals and what they've told me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll be back next week to kind of talk about it. So I have a question for you. Do you recommend people, let's say they do have 32 ETH, do you recommend that they do become one of the proof of stakeholders?
I guess if that's all that you had, then maybe not. But if you had like 50 ETH, if you had a portfolio and you were able to take, hang on, we can't give any financial advice here on the show. I'm sure that's the case.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but if somebody had,
if it were you, what would you do?
Yeah, like that would be with the reasonably sized portfolio. If you were feeling that bullish about Ethereum, but it gets locked up, so that's the thing. You can't really touch it for a while. And so with it providing, right. I think with this merge, I think it's going up to. It's above 5% per year. Like I think is it getting up to 7%, something like that, on the return. So now, if you've got other ways that you can make a better return than that, but Ethereum is certainly a solid platform. And so if somebody is feeling like, well, they want to bank on that, they're happy for it to be locked up. In fact, they'd be happy for it to be locked up because they don't want to touch it because they think Ethereum, its previous high was just shy of 5,000. So
you'd crush it.
You'd crush it.
Yeah. All right. Again, not financial advice. He's just talking about what he would do potentially. All right. Let's get to our last subject: NFTs. What is going on with NFT? It seems like everyone's got their own NFT. Even Bill Murray came up with one, and it was sold out immediately. It was amazing to me. He worked with Coinbase, I believe, and it was sold out like that. I still am not a big fan of Generation 1 NFTs. I do like what you're doing with Band Royalty, where you're adding more value to these NFTs, but Give us your opinion on what's going on with NFTs in now and in the future.
Well, I think that this first iteration, like what you're saying, that was like proof of concept. That was like, hey, this is the NFT technology. So it's a real technology.
People will buy this stuff.
People will buy it, and they like this non-fungibility, this each token is unique. Okay, cool. That worked with the JPEGs. But now, as you're saying, what is going to be some real world applications? So over at Band Royalty, when we've basically taken that tech, see, NFT is just technology, and we're applying it to the music industry, which is antiquated from the 20th century, that needs to be basically reinvented, and the artists don't have anywhere, the musicians, nothing else in sight for them to actually make money. That's apart from doing concerts and the small amount coming in from streaming. So NFTs is like it is an amazing technology that, when used in the right way for the right application for the right industry, can actually make a difference. And in the music industry, over at bandroyalty.com, you can see an implementation that delivers that kind of value. And there are going to be other industries, like real estate, like actually various forms of, filling out forms for various, even like driver's licenses. There's a whole bunch of things where NFT tech could be used really successfully. And this implementation of JPEGs, while it caught the imagination of people, they've kind of been decimated, like in the market crash, which means that they haven't been able to hold their own because they have no true underlying validity except for being a tribal marker. They're a tribal indicator. You have 10,000 people in a community who all love their branding. It's just branding. If you can create branding and you can create solidarity around thousands of people, but then if you have to give them something of value, and that's what the NFT collections need to do. So without that, they've been falling, but don't take that to mean NFTs have failed. It's like that's the first iteration. So at the very beginning, when Bitcoin first came out, it had massive crashes in those early years when people still saw no value. They were like, this Bitcoin thing, it's done. I believe it's the same with NFTs. This first iteration was just proof of concept. Now let's see a real application, like with music, like what we've got at Band Royalty, and elsewhere, they're coming out. And we're just going to see in this next wave, which I believe won't really hit the public's imagination big time. So now is actually the time to invest in groundbreaking NFT technologies, in getting ready for when there'll be the upswing with the public, I'd say from 2024. So now's a good time to come in when everything's cheap, get into those platforms where there's real utility, hint, hint, like Band Royalty, and ride it up, as I believe clearly that the market low is in, and we're going to see a transition in 2023. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing across crypto. I think we're going to see 2023 big swings while we get ready for a bull market in 2024.
Okay. And is there anything in the NFT world that you're like, wow, we got to pay attention to this? Maybe it's technology, maybe it's some sort of programmable NFT, which I'm a big fan of. Anything besides obviously what you're doing that you're really excited about?
Well, I love that you can actually use NFTs even as a wallet. There's tech to actually use an NFT as a wallet. It can hold normal fungible tokens inside of it. You can use the NFTs for staking. You can use them for voting and governance structures. So as a technology to be part of an existing ecosystem, they're phenomenal. If you really want to start thinking through, okay, I can use NFTs for staking. I can use them for holding NFTs, holding tokens, which can then even deliver a revenue stream, a staking yield within the NFT itself. That's fascinating. So this sort of tech, it's now available. And there's other implementations as well. So I just think it's if people like that kind of thing, if they like thinking through different token economic structures, it's a great. And there's basically that's all there is going to be. We've only got fungible tokens and non-fungible, and now we can play with them as economic structures to build out new economies.
Yeah, I mean, very well put. I mean, these generation 1 proof of concept. Now we're going to see generation 2, generation 3 eventually. These will be real valuable things that come out and replace a lot of what we see in the regular world. So I'm excited about it. Barnaby, we got to wrap up. Where do people get a hold of you?
You can find me actually over on bandroyalty.com. You can message me at barnaby@bandroyalty.com. You can just look up my name, Barnaby Andersun. I'm the only person in the world spelled S-U-N, like on Twitter, etc. So you please find me there. I've also got my agency, blockalchemy.io. that's for basically helping out other crypto projects and platforms. So there you go.
Thank you very much.
I'm bringing you my latest recommendation, and that is Tetragard. Tetragard is a basket of tokens, like an ETF almost, that's got Bitcoin, Ethereum, PaxG, and a fee token called Quadrant. All wrapped up. You buy it in one spot using Ethereum. The link to buy is right here. And by holding this basket of tokens called Tetragard, you get paid rewards just to hold the top tokens in the world. You can't go wrong. You'd be crazy to buy these tokens separately and not get anything for them, when you can just do it all at once in one spot and get paid rewards as long as you hold that basket of tokens. Again, Tetragard, you won't go wrong.